Inside the abandoned barracks, the air is thick with dust, and the sound of shattering glass echoes off the cracked walls. 3 guys, around our age, are busy smashing things, bottles, old equipment, anything they can find, laughing like it's the best fun they've had in ages. Sadie and I sit on an old, rusted table near the back, watching them from a distance. She rolls her eyes and flicks the ash off her cigarette before taking another drag. "They're idiots," she mutters beside me, blowing out a puff of smoke and watching them through half-lidded eyes. But at least they're having fun. I take a drag of my cigarette, exhaling slowly. Yeah, the ice melted weeks ago, and with it the tension on the island. It's funny how different everything feels once the lake isn't a frozen highway for the infected. People smile more, talk louder, and breathe easier. Even I can feel the shift, like the winter's bite has finally let go, leaving room for something else, something better. For a few short months, we don't have to be constantly on edge. As long as the lake stays unfrozen, we're safe. Sadie leans back on her hands, her gaze drifting to the ceiling. "You still think about it?" Her voice is soft, casual, but there's weight behind the words. I glance at her, the smoke from our cigarettes curling in the space between us. "Think about what?" She doesn't look at me, still staring upward, the whole you getting bitten and almost turning into a zombie thing. "Yeah, I think about it. Who wouldn't?" Sadie finally turns to face me, smirking. "And Gunnar saving your ass, huh? Bet you think about that too." I frown, not sure how to respond to that. I haven't really thought about him much, at least not consciously. He's been around, doing his usual stuff, but we haven't really talked since that day. "Why would I think about that?" I ask, feeling defensive. Sadie doesn't answer my question. Instead, she flicks the cigarette butt onto the floor, grinding it out with the toe of her boot. "You know what you need? A swim." I raise an eyebrow. "A swim?" "Yeah, this weekend down at the lake. Gunnar's going, so it should be fine." The mention of the lake instantly puts me on edge. I hadn't even considered going outside the fence, especially this early in spring. The ice only melted a couple weeks ago, and even though things have calmed down, the idea of leaving the safety of the base doesn't sit well with me. Sadie notices my hesitation and nudges me with her shoulder. "Don't freak out," she says with a playful grin. "The infected are mostly taken care of, and we're not going far. Plus, like I said, Gunnar's gonna be there." "Gunnar, huh? Sounds like you've got this all planned out." Sadie gives me a pointed look. "Don't do that." "Do what?" I shoot back, frowning, already knowing where she's going with this. She rolls her eyes and leans in, her voice dropping into that exasperated tone she uses when she thinks I'm being difficult. You know, the thing where you make it weird. I scoff, a nervous laugh slipping out. "Right, because I'm the one making things weird. And anyway, I don't swim." "What do you mean you don't swim?" I shake my head. "Never learned. Not many opportunities out here, you know?" She stares at me for a second, like she's trying to decide if I'm joking. When she realizes I'm serious, she lets out a low whistle. "Damn, Jay. Well, I guess there's a first time for everything, huh?" "Yeah, no thanks," I mutter, glancing away. The thought of being in the water, especially in front of everyone, especially Gunnar, makes my stomach churn. I'd feel like a total idiot flailing around while everyone else enjoys themselves. But Sadie's not letting it go that easily. "Oh, come on. It'll be fun." She leans closer, her voice teasing. "Maybe Gunnar can teach you. He's a good swimmer." Just then, the trio of guys finishes off an old table, and one of them, a lanky guy with shaggy hair, notices us. "Hey, come join us. We've got a bottle," he shouts, raising a half-empty liquor bottle high in the air, as if it's some sort of trophy. "Come on, let's snag that bottle," she whispers, her lips curling into a sly smile. The way one of them looks at her makes my skin crawl. I glance at her, unsure. "You want a drink with them?" "Not with them," she clarifies. "Just the booze. You know we could put it to better use." Before I can argue, she walks over and I follow. The guys laugh and make space for us, and she grabs the bottle, taking a swig before handing it to me. I take a sip, feeling the burn slide down my throat. "Ugh, this is disgusting." I cough, but there's a grin on my face as I hand it back to her. "Disgusting? You just took a sip like a 5-year-old, she teases. I laugh lightly, but it feels forced. Maybe because it tastes like gasoline. With the bottle back in her hands, Sadie tilts it back again, and I watch as she drains a good quarter of it. The guys cheer her on, and I feel a rush of anxiety stirring inside me. "Come on, let's show them how it's done," she says, glancing at the guys, who have started swinging a couple of rusty pipes through a wall, sending dust and debris flying into the air. "Sadie, maybe we should." "Oh, for fuck's sake," she interrupts me, her playfulness slipping into something more biting. "Live a little, will you? They're just having fun." "I guess," I mumble, the words slipping out, quieter than I intended. My resolve weakens, but more than that, there's a sinking feeling in my chest. Her tone cut deeper than I want to admit, like she thinks I'm failing somehow. I wander over to the nearest window and throw a printer through it, the glass shattering beautifully into a cascade of glittering shards. Sadie follows suit, kicking a desk over. Papers flutter into the air like confetti, swirling around her as she laughs, her eyes sparkling with wild delight. After Sadie and I finish smashing a cabinet to pieces, I spot a TV in the corner. Its screen is cracked, but it still clings to some semblance of shape. I feel a wild impulse surge through me, and before I know it, I'm picking up a nearby metal chair and swinging it toward the TV. The first hit sends a jarring crash through the room, and the thrill reaches my toes. The second hit follows quickly, then a third, each impact a release for all the bottled-up tension swirling inside me. "Whoa, Jay!" Sadie exclaims, but I ignore her. Everything comes flooding back, the infected, the bite that nearly killed me, the scar still fresh on my skin. My mom left us behind, like it was nothing, volunteering to go to the mainland. And my dad? He might as well have left too, drowning himself in alcohol when I needed him most. With every swing, I'm striking at the pain, at all the ways I've been wronged. My heart pounds with each hit, each crack, each explosion of glass scattering across the floor. "Jay," but I'm too far gone, too caught in the frenzy. I swing again, harder this time, a deep growl escaping my throat. The TV crumbles under my assault. It feels good, almost freeing, until I feel a hand on my shoulder snapping me back to reality. "Hey man, that's enough," one of the guys says, pulling me away. I spin around, adrenaline roaring through me. "Don't fucking touch me. You're doing too much." "It's just a TV," he replies, hands raised, but I can tell it's not genuine. I take a step closer, ready to escalate, but Sadie steps between us, her voice low and firm. "Jay, stop. Just stop." "Yeah, man, you should listen to your girl." The guy snickers with a creepy grin, looking straight at Sadie. Everything in me snaps. I don't even think. One second I'm standing there, the next I'm lunging at him, fists flying, rage blinding me. My knuckles connect with his jaw, and the satisfying thud of impact rings in my ears. For a split second, I feel powerful, like I've just climbed the tallest mountain. But it doesn't last. The guy, bigger and stronger than I am, barely flinches. His eyes darken with anger, and before I can react, his fist slams into my gut, knocking the wind out of me. I stumble back, gasping for air, the world spinning as pain ripples through my stomach. "Fucking psycho," he spits, coming at me again, but this time with purpose. I barely manage to raise my arms in defense before his next punch connects with my face. White-hot pain explodes across my cheek, and I crash into the broken mess of glass and debris behind me. The cold ground bites into my back, and for a second, I feel like I can't move. "Jay!" Sadie's voice cuts through the haze, and suddenly she's there, grabbing my arm, pulling me as the other two guys rush in to break us apart. They haul their friend away, shouting at him to cool off, while Sadie drags me to my feet. "Get the hell off me!" I snap, wrenching my arm from her grip, but she doesn't let go easily. She stands her ground. "Stop it, Jay," she shouts. "You're acting like a complete asshole." I want to argue, to tell her she doesn't get it, but my head is pounding, and the taste of blood is sharp in my mouth. I wipe my lip, feeling the sting where his punch landed. "Fuck, Jay," she mutters under her breath, more to herself than to me. Sadie grabs my arm again, this time gentler, and I let her pull me toward the rusted ladder outside. "Come on," she says, voice low, the fight in her tone replaced by something softer. "Let's get some air." I don't argue. I follow her as she climbs up the old creaking ladder. The metal groans beneath our weight, but it holds. We emerge on the roof of the building, the cool night air hitting me like a splash of water, sobering me up just enough to feel the weight of everything that just happened. The roof is flat, a patchwork of cracked concrete and rust-covered brick. We sit down on the edge, legs dangling over the side. From up here, I can see the whole island. It's dark trees in the distance, the faint lights from the base, and the lake, glimmering under the pale light of the moon. Neither of us speaks for a while. Sadie lights another cigarette, offering me one, but I shake my head. I'm still trying to catch my breath, my thoughts racing in too many directions at once. I'm sorry, I say finally, the words slipping out before I can stop them. My voice is rough, quieter than I meant it to be. Sadie glances at me, the cigarette dangling from her lips. For what? For tonight, I say, rubbing the back of my neck. For losing it back there. I don't know what came over me. She snorts, taking a long drag. Yeah, no shit. I let out a breath, the weight of it all settling on my shoulders. I'm not cut out for this, Sadie. This fighting, this survival crap. I can't. I pause, struggling to find the words. Sadie exhales, blowing smoke into the night air with a frustrated huff. Seriously? You think anyone actually wants this? No one's born knowing how to survive the end of the world, Jay. We're all just figuring it out as we go. Yeah, I guess we're all figuring it out. I rub my sore jaw, the ache reminding me I'm still here, still present. But why now? I finally ask, glancing sideways at her. Sadie frowns, clearly not following. What do you mean? I sit up straighter, turning toward her. Why now, Sadie? Why are we hanging out again all of a sudden, weeks before I start my training? My voice sounds more accusatory than I intended, but I can't help it. I mean, you ghosted me for months after everything. And now we're just here? Like nothing happened. Her posture stiffens instantly. She looks away, staring out at the island like she's trying to escape the question. It's not like that, Jay, she says quietly, her tone colder than before. It feels like that. I can't hold back the hurt. I was going through hell after the bite, after everything, and you were just gone. She clenches her jaw, her fingers tapping restlessly against her thigh. You disappeared, Sadie, and now all of a sudden you're back, making plans, dragging me around like nothing happened. Sadie swings her head toward me, her eyes narrowing. Because maybe I had my own shit to deal with, Jay, she spits out, her voice sharp. Maybe it wasn't all about you for once. What are you talking about? You wouldn't know, would you? She says, shaking her head, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. You didn't even bother to ask. Not once. Ask about what? You didn't tell me anything. My brother, Jay, she yells. Liam died, and you didn't even fucking notice. Her words hit me like a punch to the gut, and for a second, I can't breathe. What? I managed to choke out. Sadie, I didn't know. Exactly, she snaps, her eyes wet with unshed tears. You didn't know because you never asked. You were too wrapped up in your own mess. Too caught up in your own shit to notice my little brother died. Sadie, I'm so sorry. I didn't. She cuts me off, her voice trembling with anger and something else, something deeper. Do you know what it was like? Watching him die, day after day, trying to keep it together while he wasted away in front of me. And you weren't there. You weren't even fucking there. I want to reach out, to say something that'll make this better. But I don't know how. I had no idea. None. And the weight of that ignorance of my absence feels suffocating. Sadie, I start, but the words feel useless. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I should have asked. I should have. Yeah, you should have, she says, her voice hard but cracking at the edges. But you didn't. Sadie stands up abruptly, her silhouette framed against the pale light of dawn, creeping over the horizon. I need to go home, she says, her tone clipped. There's a finality in her words that gives me goosebumps. I watch Sadie disappear down the ladder, and without thinking, I follow. My hands grip the rusted rungs, but halfway down, the metal jerks beneath me with a loud screech. Before I can react, the ladder gives way, and I plummet to the ground. I fall hard, crashing with a thud that knocks the air from my lungs. For a moment, I just lie there, staring up at the broken ladder, the sun spilling light across my face. But the warmth feels cold. I can't shake the feeling of failure, of being inadequate in a world that demands strength I don't have. My fists clench into the dirt. I'm not the person I wish I could be. Hell, I'm not even sure what that person is supposed to look like anymore.